All right. By a show of fingers, who is less anxious about the state of the economy today as compared to when Trump took office January 20th? Who's less anxious about the economy? Charles, Doris, and Antonio. Doris, why are you less anxious?
Because I really believe in my heart that Trump being a businessman, he's gonna get these prices in the economy where it needs to be. He has a point to prove, and he loves to do that, and I believe he's going to get it to where it needs to be.
Okay. Um, Charles, why are you less anxious?
I never was anxious, you know. So I'm less anxious because I believe in the commander in chief.
Got it. By a show of fingers, who's more anxious about the state of the economy today compared to when Trump took office on January 20th? Four of you: Thomas, Marlon, Jeffrey, and Denzel. Why are you more anxious? Marlon, why are you more anxious?
I just want to see whether it will benefit the people or not. Um, that's the only. I mean, everything remains to be seen. The way this country is going and this world is going, hopefully we won't be so affected by certain situations as far as jobs and things of that nature.
Okay, but what's
The
causing
United
you anxiety? I guess, Marlon, but what's causing you to be more anxious today than you were when Trump took office when it comes to the economy?
Oh, as far as this inflation and things are going on, prices just skyrocket, bills is more higher.
Okay. Denzel, what about you?
I think mainly because of the inflation, and I think I just don't know if we have the means to transition all production to domestic at the moment. So, and I think it's just the first time I've seen a president go so drastic so quickly. So I think grand scheme of things, it could turn out wonderful, but it also could not. So I think it's just because I've never seen something to this level or this stage of change in a short period is kind of made me more anxious, along with the increased things that we've seen in tariffs and et cetera.
Jeffrey, what about you? What's causing the greater anxiety?
Sure, these tariff wars. One day he's going to do tariffs. One day he takes it back and gives them another date. Causes the stock market to go down a lot in the recent week or so. Sure, I mean, sure he's a businessman, but keep in mind he's also had several failed businesses. So maybe there's some horizon on the sun on the horizon on the other end. But right now it's painful because eventually the tariffs do go in effect, they will be eventually passed on to the consumer to pay more. So we'll see.
Thomas, what about you?
I think he needs to pace himself. He's going too fast and he's doing too much at a fast pace, and not allowing the economy to catch up. And I think that overall, um, he and his feelings about what he wants to do and how quickly he wants to do it, all of the things that he's doing with his administration. So I think he need to pace himself and give some time to things, give some more thought to it. Because there's no thought being put into a lot of stuff that he's doing.
Okay. By a show of fingers, who thinks President Trump has made fighting inflation a top priority in his first 9 weeks in office? Wait a second. So who would say that has made inflation a top priority? Jeffrey and Antonio. Jeffrey, what evidence do you have that he's made fighting inflation a top priority in the first 9 weeks?
Well, I think his way of fighting inflation, it's going to be a painful process, of which he said it's not going to be even though he campaigned on it, he would bring it down on the first day in office, he would do that. But it's actually going to be a painful process by making other countries pay their share amount of tariffs, bringing it down, or bringing companies back into the U.S. to manufacture and all that. So I think that's his way of doing it. It's going to be a painful process, but that's the only evidence I see of him trying to fight inflation.
Okay. And Antonio, what about you?
Yeah, from what I've been seeing, like I like to travel a lot, so I've been seeing like as far as the conversion rates, United States is going, the U.S. dollar's going up. So I think inflation is getting a little better than it was. So that's just my opinion.
Okay. For those who think he has not made it a priority, how do you feel about that? Any of you bothered by it, that he hasn't made it a priority?
Yeah, it's concerning to me because he's made the cutting of jobs and also the deportation much more important of the immigrants, which I understand that. And I have no problem with the immigrations because if they're over here illegal, then they don't need to be in the United States. But I think that inflation has not been a top priority for him because if that was the case, then that would have been the number one thing that he promoted when he first took office versus immigration and, you know, cutting people jobs. That's hurting the economy in the government, in federal government.
Okay. I have a couple of hypotheticals. Here's the first one. Imagine it's a year from now and consumer prices are in check and you're feeling like you have more money in your wallet. By a show of fingers, who'd give President Trump credit if that happened? Charles, you wouldn't give him credit?
No, I control my own destiny.
Okay, but the other six of you would.
Don't expect it. I'm
Small.
But for we're not, we're talking about your destiny. We're talking about the country's destiny, right?
Okay, absolutely. But you asked me if I had more money in my account, you know, would I thank President Trump? No.
No,
That's
no, no,
on
no,
me.
no. But that was only a small part of the question. It was imagine
Okay.
it's a year from now and consumer prices are in check. Just so
Okay.
happens you got more money in your wallet.
Okay.
Would you give him credit?
Maybe. Yeah, I guess I would. Because that's the economy, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. If you have the more money in if there's more money in your wallet because you worked harder, yeah, I clearly get why you would be a personal initiative.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Got it. Okay. I was talking about the economy. It just so happens you got more money. Okay.
Yep.
Great. Here's the other hypothetical. Imagine it's a year from now and consumer prices continue to rise and you're feeling like you have less money in your wallet. By a show of fingers, who'd give blame to President Trump if that happens?
The president.
Okay, so 5 of you, but not Antonio and Charles. Okay, so Charles, explain this to me. You'd give him credit if you do better, but if things get worse, you don't give him the blame.
Not him directly, right? It's a lot of things that has to happen for for prices to go up, supply and demand, right? A lot of things, relationships, with other countries and how we receive our goods, all of these things they play in it, right? It's not just Donald Trump hitting a button and all of a sudden eggs are cheaper, because that's not how it goes, right?
But hold on a second. So if things get better, you give him credit. Things get worse, you don't give him blame?
That's exactly what I said, sir. Yes.
Okay, so it seems like he's in a no-lose situation with you.
Well, is there something wrong with that, Rich?
I'm just asking. I mean, some
You
might say,
know?
Charles, some might say it's inconsistent.
Okay. I mean, I never thought about that though. I mean, I think about times in the past where the economy was crap, right? Did I sit back and blame Mr. Bush or Mr. Obama or whomever? I didn't. That's not something that I did. Not something that I practiced. But I do understand when people do blame the president. But I mean, a lot of things have to happen simultaneously in order for prices to go up and prices to go down.
Got it. Okay. Right. Antonio, same kind of thing for you?
Yeah. Yeah, because it's I mean, it took 4 years for from the other administration. So I mean, it's gonna take time, to get inflation prices down. It's a lot of things like Mr. Charles, it's a lot of things that goes around tariffs with other companies and supply and demand. So it's a lot of things. So
Okay. Got it. We talked about tariffs a little bit already. In terms of the tariffs that President Trump is imposing on Canada, Mexico, and China, we talked about concerns about higher prices being passed on to you guys, manufacturing, Denzel, your point, not being able to ramp it up that quickly in the United States. Is there anything else about tariffs that we did not talk about that you want to put on the table as concerns that you have? I'll take
Well,
that as
I always think about security too, right? You get one of these other countries get upset with us, and they say, we're tired of all these tariffs, we're tired of this guy, and then that's probably an attack on the U.S., right? I think about that kind of stuff sometimes when it comes to tariffs, you know, but I don't know. I don't know the likelihood of it.
Okay. So for you, Charles, just to be clear, there's a national security implication. We impose tariffs, the other country gets mad. It might not just be retaliation in terms of the economy. It could be a military retaliation.
Correct.
I could agree with that. Loss of allies.
Yeah.
Strong, weaker relationships. Yep.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Any of you have any doubts that a woman could be just as good a president as a man? Anybody have any doubts that a woman could be just as good a president as a man?
No.
No? Garland, any doubts about that?
Not really. I mean, they run enough different corporations and businesses now. Why wouldn't they be able to do it?
Okay. Joel, do you have any doubts?
Women are more emotional, men are more logical. So that kind of, they run off of feelings more. I feel this. Men say more, so men would, a woman could do it, but she would have to get rid of her emotions about things. She have to kind of I got to put my emotions, I got to be more logical. I got to be more what's going on, what this is, not how I feel so much about it.
Show of
Can I
fingers.
add to that?
Show of fingers. Who agrees with what Joel just said there?
I do to an extent.
I do. Okay, all of you. Got it. And I'm not exactly sure how to have you interpret this question. How important is your religious conservatism? Let me ask the question. Joel, go ahead.
Very important.
Okay.
Very important.
Let me ask the question a little differently. How many of you would say how important is your religious devotion, your religious commitment to your way you see the world politically?
Okay.
Who would say that your religious viewpoint is very important to your political viewpoint?
Sorry about that. My battery was, I had to plug in my computer. Sorry.
Just by a quick show of fingers, how many of you would say that your religious viewpoint thoroughly informs your political viewpoint? Religion informs your political viewpoint. Hasim, Joel, and Paul, 3 of you. Okay. Great. And there might be one other question I have to circle back to in a minute. Is it coming up? Okay, we'll see what happens in a little bit.
Okay.
All right. By a show of fingers, who is less anxious about the state of the economy today than you were on the day Trump took office on January 20th? Who's less anxious about the economy now than you were when Trump took office? None of you.
In what way? Like meaning what?
Well, whatever concerns you might have had about the economy on January 19th, are you feeling less anxious about it now? None of you are. Okay.
Yeah.
And by a show of fingers, who's more anxious about the state of the economy today as compared to when Trump took office, January 20th? So Paul and Joel are more anxious. Paul, tell me about what's causing that anxiety.
I'm waiting to see the changes. I'm anxious to see what all of this that the truthfulness coming out of Trump, that he's saying what he's going to do and doing it. I'm anxious to see the results and what is benefiting for the country and us. So that's what got my anxiety. Like, oh man, he's a man of his word. And he's going to do it. He's going to make it happen. And we have to sit back and say, he said he was going to do that. So that's where I'm standing on him. Like, okay, I'm anxious to see the next move, the next, if it's going to benefit us as people. Let's see what's going to happen.
Okay. Got it. Joel, tell me about why you're more anxious.
I'm agreeing with what Paul said. You know, he's doing things. I'm excited about it. I want to see more things done. You know, I'm waiting on to see some of those results of some of the things that he's doing. But he says that, this is what I'm going to do, and he does it.
Okay, but respectfully to both of you gentlemen, my question wasn't about your. I know you're waiting to see the results. I wasn't asking about the results. I was asking about who is more anxious about the state of the economy today as compared to when he took office.
Saying who is more anxious?
Whether any of you or whether each of you who is more, are you, Paul, I guess, ask it this way, more anxious about the economy today than when Trump took office?
Am I more anxious about the economy today?
I would say I was probably more worried.
Yeah. Hang on. I want to hear from Paul. Go ahead. I'm sorry, please. Paul, are you more anxious about the economy today than you were when Trump took office?
Actually, I am, because I think that he's going to bring more. He's going to put more jobs back where it needs to be here. I think I'm more anxious to see what is going to benefit the people more with working, instead of giving the jobs to everybody else overseas and everything else, and foreigners or whatever. I'm anxious to see what's going to transpire from that.
Let me ask the question differently. Are you more worried about the economy now than you were when Trump took office?
Well, I was worried when the Democrats had it, so yeah.
You're even more worried now than you were when Trump took over.
I'm not worried now that Trump has taken over. I said I was worried more with the Democrats. But
No. Please listen carefully to my question. Okay?
Okay.
You had a certain amount of worry about the economy when Biden was president. Trump's now been president for 9 weeks. Are you more worried now or less worried now about the economy that Trump is in charge?
I'm less worried.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to establish, is who is less worried and who is more worried. Who in this group is more worried about the economy today than when Trump took office January 20th? So none of you are more worried about the economy today. Joel, you're not more worried?
No.
Okay. I'm sorry for being so.
No.
That's a very specific question about worries? What's keeping you up
Yeah.
at night? That's the thing I'm
Yeah.
trying to understand.
Yeah.
Can we
Okay.
ask you to
All right.
rephrase it if you accident? It's kind of confusing.
Yeah, well, that's why I did that. Thank you.
Okay. No, no. Thank you. Thank you.
By a show of fingers, who thinks President Trump has made fighting inflation a top priority in his first 9 weeks in office? Joel does. Anybody else?
Say that again.
Who thinks President Trump has made fighting inflation a top priority in his first 9 weeks in office? Show of fingers. Who thinks he's made that a priority? Joel, you said yes. Anybody else? No. Okay. Joel, what evidence do you have that he's made it a priority?
For me, I would say by um um unfortunately doing taking more control of government spending and what we're yeah taking control over government spending.
Okay. The rest of you don't. So the rest of you think he has not made it a priority.
The top priority, correct?
Yeah. A top priority, yes. How do you feel about the fact that he hasn't made it a top priority? Kasim.
Somewhat concerned at first, but as I think about it, it's only been 2 months, so it's a lot of things on the table. It's a lot of mess to clean up. It's a lot of stuff that needs to be done in order for that to happen. And I think it was Paul's point, maybe that's a part of the Doge and everything else that's going on that's going to contribute to that. So I'm patiently waiting to find out.
Okay. Garland, how do you feel about the fact he hasn't made it a top priority?
I haven't really thought about it because he is so many. He has his hands in so many different things. It's like I can wait till he get to the 6 month point, then I'll start worrying.
Paul, how do you feel about the fact he's not made it a top priority yet?
I don't really feel that's the major issue. I think our security and safety is his top priority right now, and that the inflation is secondary.
Okay. So I have a couple hypotheticals for you guys. Here's the first one. Imagine it's a year from now and consumer prices are in check and you're feeling like you have more money in your wallet. By a show of fingers, who'd give credit to President Trump if that happens? All 5 of you. Different scenario. Imagine it's a year from now and consumer prices continue to rise and you're feeling like you have less money in your wallet. By a show of fingers, who'd give blame to President Trump if that happens? All 5 of you would. Okay. I know we talked about tariffs a little bit. Just want to spend a few minutes on it. Show of fingers. Who has concerns about the tariffs President Trump is imposing? Canada, Mexico, China, other countries? Who has concerns about those tariffs? None of you concerned about the tariffs? Billy, tell me about that.
I forget who said it earlier, but when thinking about it, it's like if these other countries aren't able to do business, it would force this country to have more of that business done here in house versus depending on somebody else. As far as the inflation and the prices going up with the tariffs, I believe it. I believe the plan may be for it to balance itself out with those jobs being available here.
Okay.
Maybe not immediately, but as time goes on, I believe that would be the end goal.
Okay. So
Yeah,
so Asim, but work with me on this for a second. So let's say the tariffs get imposed and prices start going up on goods that Americans buy. And you're already employed. You're not getting a new job. You might not be getting a raise to deal with the higher prices. You can be happy with President Trump.
It's already happened. I did this past 4 years with this. This has been, it's already happened. This has already been the case. So I'm not frightened at this point now if it continues or if it doesn't. The only thing is to hope that it doesn't. But if it has to continue on a little bit till it balances itself out, then I don't have a problem with that. It's already been going on.
Okay. So, but
yeah.
so my job, guys, is to play devil's advocate. So let me do that with you a little bit here. Just I'm trying to get inside your head a little bit on this.
All right, come on.
It's my job to ask you these questions.
Got you.
So let's assume Trump ran on, I'm going to fix this problem.
Mm-hmm.
Start to lower prices. I'm going to impose these tariffs. So let's say, just hypothetically, tariffs get imposed, the prices still go up. Trump has promised to bring them down. And we're 2 years in, we're 3 years in, and you're not seeing any relief. What you're just seeing is higher prices. Kasim, what's the thought process in your head at that point?
Just so I'm clear, you said a year from now?
2 years from now.
2 years from now. My thought process at that point is, this isn't what was promised. What's going on? What happened here?
Okay.
What's the end game? What's the goal? What is it? Something that I'm not understanding? That's bigger picture, or what? I don't get it.
Okay.
Mm.
All right. Joel, what's your reaction at that point?
My reaction to that point is that prices will always go up because people want to get paid more for their goods and services that they produce. Prices usually don't come down. Then you may get a little bit, you may get a little bit downward, and then they go back up because somebody wants to get paid more.
But Joel, yeah, so I see where you're going with this. Okay, fine. So I'll grant you all of that. Let's assume that wages do not keep up with inflation. Prices will continue to rise as they tend to do. Deflation is bad. Most people agree on that. Okay, so prices continue to go up, but the wages aren't keeping up. So
I haven't seen where wages have ever kept up.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
In the history of the country. I mean, they there's basically three groups of people: poor, middle income, rich. I haven't, wages only go up when those three groups want more of something. Products, services. If I'm a business owner and the car price went up, that's because someone back in there wanted, the manufacturer, the people that made the minerals to make the car wanted more money. That's how I'm looking at it.
Okay. In the interest of time, I'm going to move on. I apologize. That's fine. I have other things I
I've never seen where wages kept up. They just they don't usually.
Yeah, I get you. If I could just throw this real quick, Dollar Tree went from $1 to $1.25. Now they got a $3 section and a $5 section. I don't see them ever going back to $1.
Yeah, fair
So
enough.
I agree with you.
Okay, got it.
I think that's a myth. People got that in their head, like they kind of like.
Okay, let me change subjects. I want to just go back quickly to a couple questions about Democrats. Do you feel Democrats respect and care about men enough?
No,
No.
absolutely not.
But
Garland, why not?
Who you say?
Garland, why not?
They
it just doesn't seem like it.
Okay.
It's just always been like that. And I'm 48. Well, I'll be 48. It's always seemed like that. Like we just always secondary.
Men are always secondary for Democrats. Secondary.
Or last.
Yeah, I was gonna say if that.
Hang on a second. Garland, you're second. Who's first?
Either women, the homosexuals, or anybody else but us.
The traditional man.
Correct.
Okay. Show of fingers. Who thinks that men can get a fair shake when Democrats are in charge?
Laugh first.
None of you, huh?
Who laughed first? That's funny.
Okay. Got it.